At you with lesson 68. Mental math problem solving, don't forget to do those. Over here, new concept. In this lesson, we will name decimal numbers that have 1, 2, or 3 decimal places. So basically a continuation of what we've been doing, okay? And its value to the decimal point of 1,000th place, okay? So it's 1 over 1,000. We do not have a coin for 1 over 1,000, but we do have a name for 1 over 1,000 of a dollar. 1,000th of a dollar is a mill. 10 mills equal to 1 penny. I don't think I knew that. I didn't think I knew that there was a mills. That makes sense. We use that a lot financially. A tenth of a penny is what they call that a lot of times, because 1 penny, 10 of mills equals a penny. So I hear that phrase, a tenth of a penny, quite frequently when I'm talking about financial stuff, and we're talking about small numbers. Banks will oftentimes take a fee of a tenth of a penny from every single transaction that happens. And because there's millions and millions of transactions, that turns into a lot of money, right? But for the most part, 1,000th of a dollar is a mill. 10 mills equal 1 penny. To name a decimal place that has digits on both sides of the decimal point, we mentally break the number into 2 parts, the whole number part and the fraction part. Okay, so to read this, you'd do 12.5, or you'd read it as 12 and 5/10. Okay, 12 and 5/10 is the technically correct way. We sometimes say 12.5 just to differentiate in our heads, but 12 and 5/10 is the most correct way of saying it. 6 and 12 hundredths, that means that would be 6 and 12 hundredths, or 6.12. Okay. See, for instance, I called that 6.12 because while they are both 6 and 12 hundredths, I wanted to differentiate it as we talked about. Okay. Use words to name the decimal parts. So 12 and 25 hundredths. It's funny that there's the period there right after it because that gets confusing. So 12 and 25 hundredths. Okay, 10 and whatever the hundredths are. Whole number percent, the fraction part is 12 hundredths. Okay, so it'd be 12 hundredths. The door was 2 and 32 thousandths meters tall. Okay. 32 thousandths meters tall. It's easier to figure out the name of it if you put it over a fraction. The weird thing for me, right, if I have 2.3 tenths, it's weird to think of this as a tenth, right? Because this is a ones column. That's a 10. That's 12, right? That's a 10. So why is this a tenth? Because what we're talking about is this is a part of a 10. It is leading up to a whole one. So we're talking about it as parts of a whole. Okay. So 12 and 3/10. And then we'd have 12 and 32 tenths or whatever. All right. Write the decimal number and the mixed number for the model below. So that's lesson practice. I'll do that in a second for you guys so you can follow along with me there. The written practice, I'm going to have you guys do 14 through 24 all. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and do the lesson practice for you. I want you to try it first, though. Okay. All right, assuming you've made your choice, we have 1 plus 1, that's 2. Over here, I already know these are hundredths. Okay, we counted it up last time. I know there's 9 of these, so that's 90. Okay, so that would be 2.9 or 2 and 90 hundredths. Okay. Over here, use, oh, and the reason, just to clarify, the reason that it's better to say 24 and 42 hundredths instead of always saying 24.42, when you are listening to the number, it is easier for you to visualize the number when we're talking about big, or sorry, actually really extremely small, or another word, long decimals. So if I'm talking about a really long decimal, if I just say 0.42327, that's harder than if I said it would be like millionth. So 342 millionths. Okay, that one is easier for me to conceptualize. It may not seem much easier right now for you to conceptualize, but it will get there. Okay, use words to name each number. I'm just gonna, fine. I hate this because my my little dyslexia or whatever makes it hard because I keep going back to numbers. 24. And you always do and for the decimal, and 42 hundredths. So this would be 125. See, I did it again. 5 hundredths. Thousandths. So 125 thousandths. 125 thousandths. This would be 10. See? Oh no, that was right. 10 and 75 thousandths. All right, use digits. This is easier. 25 and 52 hundredths. 52 hundredths. 30 and 1/10. Okay, or 0.1. 70 and 89 hundredths. So, oh, sorry, 7 and 89 hundredths. 234 thousandths. Okay, 234 thousandths. Sorry, 0.234. A mil is a thousandth of a dollar. Write the amounts in decimal form below. So here I have 1 point. This is a penny, and that is a mil, right? There is nothing in my ones column. There are no dimes here. So that's actually a 0, 1, 1. Okay? There is 1 penny and 1 thousandths. Okay? A penny is a hundredth of a dollar. You need 100 pennies to get to a dollar. Over here I have 2 dimes, okay, 0.2, 3 pennies, and 4 mils. So 234 thousandths. And that's it. That's your work. Have a great weekend, my dudes.